We just finished watching a show on Netflix, and it got me thinking about the best shows on Netflix. What are the best shows? And they all have the same things in common. The number one thing is always the characters, right? We get attached to them. Like, how many times did you finish a series and you're like, oh, I missed them? Like, we watched Money Heist and then I missed the professor. So we get attached to the characters and then we miss them. That's very interesting. So the second piece is the story, right? Like, we like a good show when there's amazing, cool things that happen, a great storyline. Like, when you finish a show, you don't say, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry this show is over because the story was boring. No, like, it was so boring, I missed it. No, we miss the story. And then the third thing, obviously, is a lot less important than the characters and the story, but it's also the way it's done. It's beautiful. Like, we went to see the Woman King on the big screen. Oh my gosh, like, it is beautiful. Like, the decor, and if you've watched Games of Thrones or the new one with like 200 years before Games of Thrones, which is the House of the Dragons, it is majestic. Like, the decor, So where am I going with this, and how is that related to confidence and to my blog, and why are we talking about Netflix this morning? Because in your business, if you work somewhere or if you have your own business and you're an entrepreneur, in any business and corporations, the number one thing, the most important thing, are the characters. Because when you leave your job, or when you retire, or when you are tired of what you do, it's normally because of the other people around you. It's the characters. And when you leave, you miss them. And a lot of people say that. They're retired. Oh, do you miss your job? No, I miss the people, but I don't miss my job. Interesting, right? So you want to pay attention to the characters. Who are the players in your corporations? Are you a leader of a team? And the players are a lot more important than the task themselves, right? Second piece is the story. And that's one thing that we don't take time for. If you are starting a new job, if you're starting a new business, if you are building your business, you want to pay attention to the story. Your story is important to share so that people can understand you. And their story is important as well. So be curious and try to figure out, what's the story in that industry? What is their main problem? What am I solving? And what's the storyline about that? And really understand that industry to figure out what is their pain points, what problem do they have, how can you solve it, and then use a lot of stories in order to come across with your point. Like, if you're doing any sales, if you are let's say a speaker, you need to have lots of stories in order to get your point across. If you are working in a bank and then you have corporate investors, then you need to also lead with stories. What is the story of the corporation or the organization that you are with? And lead with the story, because people get attached to stories. They don't get attached to facts or to before and after picture or whatever, but people love stories. And then the third thing is the decor that I was mentioning in that Netflix, in the Netflix shows, which is one of the things that makes for the best Netflix shows to watch. It's your brand. So what does it look like? Are you consistent? Are you organized? Is it consistently looking good as well? It's not just about having a business. Does your business have a reputation, systems, procedure? Is it well organized? So think about all these parts when you build your business or when you work for your organization with your staff. is, are you paying attention to the people? Are you interested in the story, and do you have interesting stories to share? And do you have a consistent brand that is very classy looking, or whatever your brand is, you want to continue to always have this brand consistently. So have a great weekend, and hopefully you find a great Netflix show to watch tonight.